And we are live. Hey people, how's it going? How you doing? How's your day been? Wait, hold on, there's a music for you. Hey, 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 hey. Okay. All that hype was just to say, oh, baby, we're back in business. Hi. Happy Sunday, people. Where are you tuning in from today? Where are my people? So thank you so much for joining us today. It is Sunday, the day we've been waiting for, where we learn how to build successful businesses in Canada. Okay, I'm your host, Janey, aka Janey of Canada. And if you're new here, where have you been? Anyways, if you're new, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Every month, every other month, we bring immigrants to this channel to talk about different business expertise, their stories, and their skill sets, just for you to learn how to navigate your own way too. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Regularly, we also drop videos and tips as an international student, internationally trained professionals, and generally as immigrants to Canada and how to survive in this new land. So today, you're not just going to hear from me. You're going to hear from not one, not two, but three amazing founders who have launched incredible businesses, friends of mine who I'm super proud of, and we get to have a sister chat with them. This is not a webinar. There's a reason we're having this conversation on a Sunday. We're chill, we have our drinks, so go get yours, and we're just going to be chatting by the fire. Like any question you have about building a business or how a business should run, have it in the chat, okay? So I'm tuning in today from Toronto, Ontario, where my London people at. Yes. Oh, there's a lot of UK people. Okay, you guys are planning ahead. I love it. Great. I'm really happy to see all of you. Where are my Toronto people at? Crystal, I see you. Okay, I see you. Hey, okay. So super excited to have you all today. Okay, let's continue to engage in the conversation. Just a few housekeeping items. We'll chat and discuss in the chat. I have said that. I'm looking at the chat, so I want to take in your questions as well. Some folks who have followed us on Instagram have sent in their questions ahead of time, so we'll also be having those conversations in the panel discussion. We're going to spend the first 45 minutes actually learning about businesses and how they run theirs. And then towards the end, we'll take in your Q&A. And if you're not new here, you know that we're going to do the rapid fire this or that challenge, where we ask our guest speakers to actually answer this or that question as it relates to the topic we're discussing today, which of course is Side Hustle 101. Okay, this is exciting. Enough about me. Remember to subscribe to the channel. And yes, am I missing anything? Actually, one thing, I want to make sure that this session, this next 1 hour is very impactful for not just me, because I'm trying to learn about my business, but for you as well. So let me know in the chat, what is one word that you're looking, or what's your intention? What are you looking to get out of this session today? Because if at the end of the 1 hour, I haven't helped you, I'm not done my job and you can unsubscribe. I'm joking, don't. But please let me know what that one word is, or what the phrase is, what you're looking to get out of this, so I can make sure I do my job well, okay? And by the way, we're Nigerian people in the house. What's up? Brah. Anyways, I just needed to do that, Without further ado, please welcome. Hey, please welcome. Okay, I'm a party. It's a Sunday, chill, girl. Let's welcome Pat, Ibiyemi, and Nouhaila. Hi guys.
Hello.
Okay, thank you so much for spending time today with us on a Sunday. It is an immense joy, and thank you so much for your experience. I'm gonna say thank you a lot, but enough of me, chatty. The people are here for you. So let's start with this. Tell us a little bit about you, what you love to do, what you get paid to do, and why you do it. Okay, let's start. Nouhaila?
So I'm Nouhaila. Nice to meet you all. I came here when I was 17 years old from Morocco, so North Africa, to Canada. I'm founder of Scale Without Borders. That's my side hustle. And then I also work at a tech incubator based in Toronto. Did I hit all the points, Janey?
You did. What do you love to do, though? That's one missing one.
Well, I love helping newcomers in tech, which is why I built a whole business around it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nouhaila. So we're going to have Pat go next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat. I came to Canada as an international student, and I think a lot of people, the speaker, are here as well. So I found job search very challenging as an international student. So this led me to found my own company called Empower, and we help international students get the job that they deserve. So we are building an ecosystem for international students. That's my side hustle. And what I get paid to do is I am a product manager at TELUS. So I love everything related to digital and television.
Thank you so much, Pat. And last but of course not the least, Ibiyemi. Take it away, girl.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ibiyemi. So I'm a founder. That's exciting to say. But I run Foot in the Door Consulting. It's a career coaching business for business and technology professionals that are looking to not just acquire jobs, but to sustain a long-lasting, fulfilling career. So that's my side hustle. My main hustle is I work at Ryerson in corporate partnerships. And by night, I'm actually completing my MBA part-time in social innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm happy to be here.
Wow, that's a lot of things, man. Women, how are you all doing this? Okay, so I'm just looking at the chat and people's one word. Someone said they need to understand how to achieve success, but someone else said confidence. So let's start with this. Tell us a little bit about how you started your businesses. When it became an idea, when you actually did something about it, what was that journey like? Because we need to get confident and get our bags this year. Nouhaila, would you like to start?
Yes, I'll kick it off. So for me, it was super organic, right? Because I find when you come in with the mindset that I'm going to build this $100 million business, and that's fine. But if that's like what you're leading with, it's going to be hard, right? So the way you build your confidence, I think, is like step by step. First of all, you want to do what you really love. Try it out as a project and then see, oh, can I make money off of this? Oh, can I grow it a little further? And those baby steps will kind of help you. And then also detach yourself from the outcome. Like rejection happens all the time. It's okay. You just got to enjoy the process.
Thank you. Wow. Detach yourself from the outcome. Ibiyemi, tell us a little bit about Foot in the Door Consulting. Like, how did you start? Like, when was it an idea to the end?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So in 2014, I want to say, I started my career in diversity recruitment. And obviously, when you become a recruiter, everyone kind of reaches out to you and is like, hey, can you help me with my resume? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I ended up doing that a lot. I could spend 2 to 3 hours of my day-to-day job on the phone with people, literally just coaching them through their resume and going through that process. And then I did that for like 3 years, guys. I didn't charge anyone for 3 years. And then a friend of mine was like, you know, you could charge for this, right? And I was like, really? And in 2017, I started charging. I mean, I started very, very low, but we've grown. And I started charging and I'm absolutely loving it. But there's just so much that's missing, right? Like people, the job search process is so hidden. So my whole job is really, as the recruiter and then in corporate partnerships and coaching, is really to help people see the things that they're not looking at. And a bunch of my colleagues are in the chat, so I'm so happy you guys are here. But that's basically how I got started.
Awesome, thank you. Pat, tell us a little bit more about Empower International Students, how you got started, and again, especially the name for it. I think that there's a powerful story there.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought of it as a business in the beginning. And I resonate with both of your story because I was doing it for free for a couple of years too. It was just an idea that I felt like I couldn't get the job that I deserve. And I couldn't believe that other people, you know, don't have the same problem. And a lot of people, a lot of international students ended up settling for less or getting a job outside of target industry. So I'm like, man, there's something wrong with this. So let's fix this. So I started Empower was actually as a meetup group. I was doing it at my own apartment, just kind of bringing people together. I was sitting down at a coffee shop every single day and people would come and be like, hey, Pat, review my resume for me. And I never charged them a single thing too. And until people are like, hey, you know, I love to pay you for this, you know, and I'm like, no, I'm not taking money. You know, I was like actually very mission driven. And I was doing that for a couple of years and really getting to know like the actual pain point of what international student needs and start building it up as a social enterprise, as a mission driven startup. And yeah, we grew as well. And yeah.
Awesome. No, thank you all so much. So from all your stories, what I heard was like it started as a passion for you and like something you enjoy to do, especially because it's a side hustle, right? Like you had your job, so you had a passion, and then there's that sense of wanting to build community. And again, we needed that. We're not charging for stuff for a while, and then you learn, wait, if I like to do this, and people are asking this of me, I might as well charge for it. Go get your coins. So I'm happy that all of that place where we're actually moving from like a passion project to a business. Okay. So we've talked about the name. What was the biggest hurdle you like in your mind that you had to overcome to go from this thing is an idea or this is a passion project to making it a business? Ibiyemi?
So I think so. I started obviously with friends because a lot of people were coming to me just from that perspective. And then family. It is really hard to ask friends and family to pay you money for things that like you just do for free. There's obviously a lot of value, but people are just like, oh, but like we're friends and we're like cousins or whatever. And it's like, you also have that passion to help. So it's also just like, how do you actually just ask for the money? Like legit the words, how do they come out of your mouth?
Send them your website, but yes. Actually, fun fact, I always say that I charge family and friends more because they give you more stress, to be honest. They're like, they know you, so they try to like get them.
Okay, that is so true. So, that is exactly true. That was the hardest part for me initially, just that piece. And then obviously imposter syndrome, but that's it's something that we're all working towards. Apparently it affects successful people. So if you have imposter syndrome, you're successful.
Oh, I like that. Okay, Nouhaila. Now, Nouhaila, tell us a little bit about your biggest hurdle.
For me, I think it was moving from like social impact and doing good to actually making money from it and changing your mindset and finding a business model that works. Because sometimes what the effort you put on it matters, it'll create impact, but it doesn't justify them paying for you. What actually matters is that they get more value than the amount of money. And you kind of have to figure it out. You have to figure out a way for it to make sense to you financially, but also for it to make sense to them. And sometimes we get one and not the other. That's the biggest challenge. Still facing that challenge. But in a much better place. Yeah.
I honestly love the admittance of like, that's the thing about challenges. Like sometimes you don't overcome it. You're still like walking your way through it and having to communicate your value. And that is something I know you and Pat definitely share in common because Pat, you initially shared with me how your business was first structured and how you moved it onto something else, moving from the impact to like the profit or the business sense. So let's talk a little bit about like business structure. How is your business currently set up? Is it a for-profit, not-for-profit? And how did you decide on the business model? Pat, you want to start?
Yeah, for sure. So I started Empower as a community platform. So it was purely charity organization for a couple of years until earlier this year that we're like, you know what, I can do good and I can also get paid for it. So currently it's set up as a sole proprietorship to save costs. But, in a couple of months, we are incorporating and actually taking it full stream into a startup. I think I answered that question.
You did. Okay. Thank you. And Nouhaila, how's your business set up?
Oh, we're for profit.
Love it. You gotta just say like, listen, I'm going to make back and do good. And two of those things are not mutually exclusive. If you're in this conversation today and you think that you can, you want to just do good, you can't make money. I'm telling you right now, here is the confidence you need. You can do good and make money at the same time. Okay. So wait, let's talk about the registration process because people want to know practical things too. How did you go about registering sole proprietorship and even incorporating your business? Ibiyemi, do you want to start?
I can definitely jump in. So this one is literally brand new, guys. So I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. I registered my business on Wednesday. Wednesday. And why did I do that? To be honest, like I'm doing my MBA, like I mentioned before, and I'm studying entrepreneurship, and we have a capstone project. And this has been a project that's been going on for 7 months. And at the end of the project, which is literally the end of July, you're supposed to have all of these outcomes. And I've been doing all of these different things. And I've been thinking about incorporation versus sole proprietorship for so long. And I just sat down with my prof literally on Monday, and I was like, dude, which one do I pick? Like this one costs this one doesn't cost that. So I really had that conversation with him, and he told me at this point it makes sense to do the sole proprietorship process. I did it on Owner, so Own R, and it was $89. It was very easy and free. The whole entire process took 10 minutes. I'm not even.
I actually did mine on Owner as well, and when I just registered my business. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pros and cons. Nouhaila, I think Scale Without Borders Incorporated, correct? I think you shared that with me.
That's
okay.
Right.
Let's talk about pros and cons, registration versus incorporation. First of all, here's your approval to start your business without needing to register it. I believe the rule is as long as you're not making up to 30K, you're not in any trouble.
Yeah.
With the government of Canada, as far as I understand.
Yes.
Right? Because that's when you need to start filing HST and GST taxes. So, but let's talk about, like, if I'm trying to start my business right now, like, should I register it as a sole proprietorship or should I incorporate? Nouhaila, what's the benefit of incorporation?
So that's a good question. I'm not a lawyer, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt.
Disclaimer. Please don't come for my girl.
Thank you. I think the biggest reason I went for incorporation is because I wanted it. It was both practical, but also like strategic. Practical because I didn't want to be held liable for anything. So I wanted to separate myself from my business. My personal money is different from my business. And then secondly, I wanted to think of this as a real corporation. Like that was like the philosophy around it. This is a real business. This is not it is my side hustle. This is not a consultancy. This is not a self-employed situation. This is a startup and it's going to grow. So those were the two reasons.
Awesome.
So I can jump in if I can here.
Yeah.
Just exactly what you were talking about, Nouhaila, is kind of the opposite reason for me as to why I decided to go through sole proprietorship, because the limited liability was something that I was really worried about, right? Like when I started my career in HR, my daily goal was not get sued. Don't get sued today. You did a good job. But I realized that in this coaching space, it's less likely to happen. Plus, I just found out about this. You can get insurance. So you can get insurance on malpractice, you can get small business insurance, and it's a couple of $1,000s a year, but it could cover you for limited liability. And the reason why I didn't go through that incorporation process is I did not want to file my taxes twice. It's an administrative thing because obviously it's your business is its own person. So you have to file the taxes for your business and then do your own personal. So I was like, okay, I'll just do my own personal, include my revenue in that, and go through that process. But down the line, I'm coming for you, and I'll chat. We'll talk about incorporation.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Nouhaila, how much did incorporation cost? Do you remember?
Yeah, it cost me like, I think it was like $500. I incorporated with Founded, which are now under RBC. So go for it. It was very simple. Like you literally Google incorporate and you're like, oh, cool. I'm incorporated.
So, Pat, listening to this, is there anything different from how it works in BC?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I want to know.
Folks who are not in Canada, I just did the acronym. Sorry, please go.
Of course, yeah. I mean, one thing I wanted to note is that I started my business when I was on my work permit. So I honestly couldn't incorporate. My heart is, okay, I want to build this as a startup, but I just cannot because legality behind it. So
you're not a permanent resident or a citizen. Yeah.
Exactly. So, if you're not a Canadian citizen or PR, you can't incorporate, or you need to have at least like 51% of the shareholders who have that citizenship or PR. So I went with sole proprietorship. And also one thing to note, I think with BC and Ontario, and double check this as well, is in BC, you can register as a sole proprietorship regardless of your citizenship. Right. So, but if you are usually on your work permit and everything like that, there's legality about what you can do, stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I went with my sole proprietorship. I incorporated with the business, I think Small Business BC, and then also register my business name because I'm not operating with my name. I'm operating with Empower International Students.
Awesome. Yeah. So similar, like I registered my business with Witten, which is my corporate name, but like everyone just says Janey of Canada. Like when you're getting documents from me, partnership documents and stuff, you will see with it. So I completely understand that. Okay. So with you all talked a little bit about like partnerships, and want to go there, but before that, a lot of folks will think, okay, starting a business, I'm hearing owner, founder, small business BC, there's a lot of tools to start. Oh, I need an accounting software. Let's talk a little bit more about your processes, like what you need to have or what you started with and where you are right now when it comes to business processes, starting with like accounting and like how you keep those, because you talked about 2 accounts versus 1, and taxes. So we'll talk about taxes, accounting, and how your business processes work today. Who wants to take that big bullet?
I can try.
Okay, and then Patrick next.
This one is a pain because when you become an entrepreneur, you know how to do 1 out of the 7 jobs you now have to do. And that's just something that you always want to remember. But I was talking to my mentor this week, and he was talking about the idea of process. And the fact that like it's not going to be perfect. He has run a consulting firm for the last, he said 14 years, and he just nailed down the process 3 years ago. So give yourself freedom to know that your process is not going to be 100% tight, but you can iterate, you can work through it, you can go through that process. An intake form is something that I always do in terms of just kind of managing the flow of clients. Because what you'll find is that when you're in kind of the businesses that we're all in, when you're working with people, people find you anywhere. They find you on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, what have you. You want to have a funnel that's very quick and easy. Obviously, you can use different CRMs that exist. But if
what one do you use right now?
I use HubSpot.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to keep it simple, you can also just do a Google form, guys. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just
thinking about simple. Pat?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I still put all my things in Excel. I mean, in terms of like how much money I earn, how much I'm paying out, I still kind of Googling like contract and NDA sheets and everything and just sending it to people. Everything's still coming through to my own personal bank account until I get incorporated. And then I can build my own business bank account. So I have no structure set in place, and like, don't sweat it. I think, like, you know, give yourself freedom, right? It will come as long as you keep track of all those things and make sure how much you're burning every month, how much you're getting paid every month. I think you're good to go.
A lot of I just keep all my receipts on Google Doc. I love looking at numbers. So Excel sheet too, but once it's tax time, I literally just file everything and I give an accountant to look over. Cost me under $200 to file my business taxes. Yep, just because I'll do everything myself. So literally, you can really be scrappy and then give yourself grace when it comes to like your business processes. It will scale. Nouhaila, you have a look on your face like, what? Tell us about your processes and how you run the business.
No, I'm impressed you were able to get an accountant for under $200.
Scrappy, what can I say?
Yeah. Honestly, I can do better in terms of processes. Like Ibiyemi said, it's all the Google Sheets for me right now. Yeah, it's a bit of a headache. So I'm learning from what you both are saying right now. So yeah.
I love that we're all learning from each other. And that was honestly the aim of this, like to come together, learn from each other, and then share to everyone else who's trying to figure this out. And so let's talk about like team structure. How many people do you have in your teams? How do you hire? What programs did you use to hire? I know some of you have folks on your team, because first of all, before we even get there, when did you decide that you needed help on your team? Because I think that's the biggest hurdle. Nouhaila, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can kick this one off. I learned a ton. So for me, a goal is, unless it's something I have completely no idea to do, like building an app, I wouldn't know how to do that. So I have to hire someone from the get-go. But you want to be able to do that thing first before you can hire someone. So if you're going to do social media intern, you better figure out not only the voice, but your audience, the people, everything before you give away that. If you want to do sales, you got to sell first yourself and sell a number. So once you've established that process, that's when you want to hire, because you only want to delegate established processes, in my opinion, unless you're hiring for expertise, in which case I'd say get a mentor, right? Get a mentor to help you with that. Don't hire people. Yeah.
Love that. So if you are thinking tasks, make sure you've done the task so you can delegate and set whoever you're bringing on right for success. But if it's expertise, get a mentor. We'll talk about that mentor bit a little bit. Any opposing thoughts?
I have some.
Okay, please share.
Not opposing. I wouldn't say opposing. Definitely
Additional.
what you're talking about. And for me, it was a matter of I'm just doing too many other things, and I really have a lot of momentum. And I realized that like I don't want to lose the momentum, which is why I decided to go through and hire an intern actually. And I went through the marketing operations kind of internship route. My background is diversity recruitment, so I know how to recruit. And within 3 days, I had my person, and I was able to send, the people that I didn't end up hiring to Janey to see if she knows anyone. And she has been fantastic. But to Nohaila's point, you definitely need to know what you need done. So I had like a giant, Google sheet that I've now transitioned to Notions. We can talk about Notions. Great software, productivity, A+.
What is that again? How do you spell that? I'm just making sure that people capture it in the chat.
Notions, Notions.
It's a great productivity tool. Thank you.
It saves lives. And it's when you're adding on a team member, it's actually free to add a team member on. So good stuff. But I had all of my things already structured, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have work for the person, it does not look good when you're asking the person what you should do next. Like, it's not a good look. But yeah, absolutely. Definitely delegated things that made sense because I had a massive list to be able to send to her. And then I do have several mentors and coaches because it is necessary. Okay.
And so did you, I know, Pat, you also have team members on. So are there interns, full-time, contract? Do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, so for me, I don't do like full-time employment. So for me, I'll speak a little bit more on like structuring a startup team. So me as a CEO, I have a co-founder who's my COO, and I have a chief growth officer who's out in the East Coast. So we are a startup team, and we all equity based for us right now. I do have 5 people on contract. So I have like 4 instructors that help with delivering the job search programs, and then the graphic designer who I also have as on contract. So, and the contract is not like a huge contract, right? Like,
this so people are in the chat like, how can you afford to pay these people?
No, I don't. Yeah. So definitely, like you pay like prorated, right? So for me, like depending on how many students enroll, then we give them percentage of the revenue because that's how we do things, right? Like I don't teach my program myself. I'm not a sole proprietor. Like I'm not a coach. I hire coaches to do that so that they can bring their expertise to the table. Same with the graphic designer. She was actually volunteering for me when I was nonprofit. And I'm like, I love you. You're so amazing. Like, let me hire you like 20 hours per month. And that's how much work I need. And I work smart. I just kind of schedule everything a month in advance, and then that's it. That's done, right? So you don't have to always have people on part-time or full-time. Like you can go lower. And that's the beauty of startup.
And you're right, because there's also requirements that you have to make if you hire anyone full time, and that involves like having a lawyer and stuff. So we can definitely take on the apprenticeship model, a volunteer role, or even like a profit sharing model, the way you kind of had with if we get a deal or a sale, then you can get a certain percentage. And believe it or not, I think for me the biggest hurdle to overcome, and I shared this with Ibiyemi, was like, who will want to work with a company that makes $0? But there are a lot of people who believe in what the mission and the mandate and want to support that. And I'm realizing that too as I go. Nouhaila, can you share a little bit about how you hired? I know you shared some programs with me that folks could actually take advantage of to get team members on staff.
Yes, please. There's a ton of wage subsidy programs like Magnet. Take notes, folks. Magnet. Tech Nation. There's one called Level Up, I think.
Yes.
Ripen. All of these give you a subsidy of 75%, I believe, up to 75%, where you can hire an intern up to $10,000. That's a lot of money and you can hire many. So I have 3 folks, interns who are working with me. Great things to work with interns with are social media and program coordination for your event or whatever, admin tasks that you are really, really bogging you down, right? And you want to move past that and focus more on the strategy. So those are the resources I used.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope you guys took notes of what to do when creating a team. So let's talk a little bit about like the website, because folks are still like in that ideation stage. And somebody actually asked us, how did you create your website? Did you do it yourself? Did you outsource? And what was the hosting platforms you used?
I can probably go. I built everything on my, like the actual structure behind it. I built it myself. We use Wix. It's super cheap. I think I pay like $20 a year or something like that. and then technically, all the visual designs is my graphic designer kind of putting in banners and everything like that. But the structure of it is not as complicated as you think. So yeah, go ahead, start now.
Anyone else use something else? Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, Squarespace.
Awesome. So, and I'm going to actually do a video on my YouTube channel. Let me know if you actually want to see this. I created my website in 1 week. I literally just got a A4 sheet of paper, did the UX, what I want one page to go into, created my designs on Canva. Like, honestly, not a graphic designer, created my designs. I literally had a friend come take a picture session, like scrappy, like listen, just call somebody who's good with a camera, take your photos, go on Canva, have the pictures you want. And I kind of have a theme. I personally work better on paper first. And then in 1 weekend, just bought my domain. I actually had the domain a while back, but finally bought the hosting on Squarespace. And Squarespace is beautiful. It's easy. It's drag and drop. You don't need to know HTML, CSS, nothing. And there are templates you can work with, so you don't have to start from scratch. And if all else fails, just start with a landing page and tell people that they can contact you here on this email to find out more. And because I said that, tips for creating a business email address. This is a question that came in from the community. Any thoughts?
I currently have Gmail. So that's what I use. Like I just FITDConsulting@gmail.com because I use Gmail at work. I use Gmail in life. So I just was like, let's keep it simple. Maybe
and that hasn't stopped you from getting clients, has it?
No, it has not. No, it has not. So that's what it is.
Awesome. Nouhaila, Pat, any thoughts on like a business email address structure?
So for me, I was using my personal, like my name at outlook.com for so long, up until I start having more partnership with like colleges and university and big corporations that I'm like, this is probably not appropriate. So I went actually and get my own inbox, and I got my team members inbox too. So it's cost me like $30 per month to be able to have like 4 different inboxes. So still, if you can afford it, go ahead. And I know that like if some of you probably have questions about the actual like business, like info at your business name, go ahead. Like it could be like info, hello, or I don't know, say hi. Like it could honestly be anything. Just make sure that it speaks to your own brand, right? Like I use hello because it's friendly.
Yeah. I use hello as well. And honestly, I have one inbox right now using Google's G Suite. And as I onboard more team members, I'm going to get more, but hello and everything works there. So partnerships, all the forms kind of go into that email, and I just sort it that way. Nouhaila, do you have any tips, or we can move on just for time?
We can move on. I'm just Google Suite, but yeah, we can move on.
Okay, let's talk about partnerships. Or first of all, prices, because you want to know your prices before you do partnerships. Someone has asked the question, how do I set product prices for non-tangible products, so like services? How did you go about your pricing strategy? Nouhaila?
I would say 2 things. Number 1, competition. Check your competition. What do they charge? What's your market rate? Number 2 is internally what works for you. So you want to make sure that financially you can figure out the finances, and that it makes sense for you. You know what the profit you want to make is, and what your burn rate is. And
what is burn rate, Nouhaila?
Apologies. I come from a tech startup world, so
I know.
Burn rate is how much money you get through. So, you know, how much money are you going to burn through to deliver this service? Does it make sense for them? But also there's a catch. Sometimes even if your burn is high and your price has to be high, again, it doesn't work for them. So that's when you have to work on a different business model that actually serves them as well, right? Because sometimes people will complain, just to be very honest here, very candid, sometimes will complain that, oh, you are devaluing my services. Well, sometimes they're not devaluing your services. It's you have to come up with a better business model. I'm being very upfront right here.
Yeah. Okay. Really, I appreciate that. We'll definitely appreciate the upfrontness. So speaking about pricing, Ibiyemi, how did you go about yours?
So because I do coaching is my time, and my time is just ridiculously valuable at this point. Working a full-time job, in school part-time, like I don't have hours, right? So for me, I basically I sat down and I looked at what I usually will spend just in my own personal life. And I'm like, how much is me getting out of bed worth?
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, that's a tough one. How much is me getting out of bed worth per hour?
Right? I love to talk and I can talk people's ears off, but it's just like, how much is that worth? Right? And I just sat down and I took, obviously you look at your competition and people are charging $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, $5,000 an hour. And I was like, okay, I'm not quite there, but I'm also not at like 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. Like I'm not there either. Right?
Yeah.
And I came up with a nice, sweet, like round $100. This is what it takes to get me out of bed and to have that conversation and see what that looks like. But it took me a while to get there.
It's a lot of iteration. Awesome. Pat, do you have a different thought?
Yes, not a really different thought, but I think just want to add to, for me, I don't sell like coaching hour, I sell program based. So I don't really sell them on the things like, oh, you get 100 modules or 24 templates and things like that. I sell the transformation after they've gone through the program. And that value in itself is sometimes just priceless, right? Because you're going from like not getting a job at all to actually get your dream job. So, but again, like going to what Nouhaila actually mentioned is that you really have to know what's work for you and what work for your customers. Like I work with international students that not everybody's able to afford, so I need to have monthly payments, or I'm trying to think about new business model where I don't have to charge students, but charge employer and charge university instead, right? So yeah.
Exactly. And you even shared with me that that's the thing about the business model. You're even just creating a business plan even as you go. So the thing about pricing, it's like nothing is set in stone. I once started my resume and LinkedIn review, and then I worked with a couple clients and I realized this is not the type of clients I wanted to work with because they weren't ready enough. You also have to think about the type of clients you want to work with and adjust based on the market. And sometimes when I do partnerships and collaborations with brands who want to sponsor a YouTube or a speaking engagement, and then if I say price, I read your reaction. A lot of it is just test and learn. Like you just keep learning as you go and taking in new information from your clients and the consumers you're looking to serve. Okay, so speaking about clients and partnerships, I know Nouhaila, Pat, you've definitely worked with a couple big brands. So how did you get your first corporate partner? Like, what was that process like?
Sure, I can get with that. For me, it was really, warm introductions. You really got to network with these folks. It's hard to cold call, right? It's hard to go on LinkedIn and you could, or just email. You got to network, and that takes time. And so you got to make networking or relationship building, is what I call it, a process that you will somehow enjoy or at least bear. Honestly, years. Some of the people, and even not even just partnerships, it could be just people who helped me move my business forward in some way or another, mentors, whatever. These people, I think about them. I'm thinking about one person, for example, Lean. I met her in 2015, and she helped me. I didn't think she was going to help me. She helped me with my business a lot 4 years later. So that's the power of relationship building.
Pat, let's get real.
Yeah, for me, it's just networking again. Like, for example, and it could not really networking. It's about like content creation sometimes, right? So I got partnership with Talent Egg, which is one of the largest like entry-level job boards. And how I got that was very randomly. So I posted a post about, hey, if you are an international student and you're not using Talent Egg, you're doing it wrong. And then Talent Egg reached out and they reposted it and they're like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about this. I am an account manager. I love to work with you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's hop on the call. And that's really turned out to be a structured business partnership. So now they feature us on their website. So we have great visibility. We incorporate their job board into our curriculum. So, it's again, value added. And this doesn't even have to be like monetary, right? Like we do that because we believe in that product. They do that because they believe in us. So it can be as easy as that. Yeah. But you're going to keep going and be smart about how you approach things along the way.
Awesome. But again, how did you decide on how much to charge a partner?
So I'd say, so for Talenic, I don't charge them because there's value exchange in between. They feature us, I feature them. But say, for example, when I go and speak at colleges, usually it's the client who offer me like, hey, if you deliver a workshop, I'll give you $300 or $400 and stuff like that. So again, it's with B2B, there's no set price. It's always about like, what are you able to afford? What are you okay with? And sometimes I just do it for free, like just
we need to stop doing stuff for free in 2024.
I do.
Right now.
I do have to stop, but like, I love my mission so much.
I
I'm like,
know.
that if I get value in exchange, if I get to be in front of your students, if your student sign up to me, and it doesn't have to be money all the time.
I agree. So you're getting something in return. It's not necessarily money. Totally makes sense. I agree. Ibiyemi, something?
Yeah, I want to quickly plug in Afua. If you don't follow her, you should be. Her handle, Hello Afua. She's the second part of She Leads Africa, and she has a partnerships business, and she coaches people on brand partnerships. Yes. She has a group called the Partnership Posse. She knows everything there is to know about partnerships. And I learned so much from her. I'm in my day-to-day job, I do partnerships, so I get it. But from the business angle, I'm still developing that. It's more speaking engagements than like collaborations, but she is someone that you should be on your radar to get information.
Awesome. Thank you so much for dropping that. So that's Hello Afua with AFUA. I've heard about her and her partnership trading, so definitely check that out. Okay, we're running close to time. So folks, if you have any questions, we're going to be answering them in a couple minutes. So put those in the chat like soon so that we get to it. But one thing you three have definitely touched on is business mentors and coaches. And some people are sitting there like, I don't know nobody. I'm an immigrant. So first of all, do I even need one to succeed? And if I do, like, how do I find one? Nouhaila. Oh, okay. Ibiyemi, want to go?
Right.
Oh, Nouhaila, go first. And then Ibiyemi goes right after. Sorry, I'm just like enjoying listening to you all.
That's a great question. So first of all, absolute yes, you need a mentor, you want a mentor, and it could be a different form. It could be a friend, it could be a role model, it could be a sponsor. But I would say the best way, if you're starting a business, join an incubator, join a community, right? A network. And if you're an immigrant, you're a newcomer, you don't know people. So that's the best way. Honestly, I don't know what I would do without my mentors. And I don't have many, I only have a couple. I have one a mentor, and the other one is actually a sponsor. She opens doors for me. So that's another thing. You want that too. You don't want people only telling you what to do or giving you their opinion. Sometimes you know what to do. You just need access to those open doors, right? So you want those people too.
Awesome. Ibiyemi, you're going to say?
I was going to say social media. So very similar to you, Nouhaila, in that if you are trying to get a business run in any specific area, just find out the people in your business that are doing that, and in your industry that are doing that, and just follow them on Instagram and then engage with their content. So Instagram, LinkedIn, it happens all the time. You like, you engage, you comment, and then one day you slide into the DMs and you just introduce yourself, right? There was this woman that was doing career coaching. She's been on like global media. She's done a whole bunch of different things, and she was putting out content around becoming a professional speaker. And she created a speaker's kit. So I was engaging with her content, I used the content that she did, and I created my own speaker's kit. And I slid into her DMs. I was like, hey, you don't know me, but I love your content. I created my speaker's kit. Can you look over it for me? And that was the beginning of a beautiful relationship. And if I have questions about career coaching or anything like that, she's my go-to in terms of just finding out information. And she's so helpful. And I've never met this woman in person before. So, wow. Social media.
Okay. Does anyone pay for any business mentors or business coaches at the moment? Okay, Pat, you want to share?
I do. I was guilty for not having mentor for a while. I never had a dedicated one for entrepreneurship, but I do ask a lot of people all the time, like questions. I'd be like, hey, I know you're in recruiting. Can I ask you about this? I know you're in social media marketing. Can I ask you about this? And I ask a lot of questions, but I never had one person who's like dedicated for me until recently that I joined an organization called Forum. So you might have heard of it. It's Female Entrepreneur. I'm not too sure what they stand for anymore, but I now have a mentor who's, understand my business model. She's also in recruiting, and I do pay like $280 for a whole year, so it's quite affordable. They are also nonprofit, and like go check it out. Amazing resources out
Do you
there.
remember how it's spelled?
It's just the forum.
The forum.
Yeah.
Okay.
FOR.
I'm like, please let me hear about it, because I'm still looking for like a dedicated business coach. Because you have mentors and you go to people to ask questions, but when you want to have that routine accountability on scaling and growth and success, it is always very advisable. Okay, thank you for that plug. Wow, we're learning so much today. We've learned tools. We're all like nodding. I'm loving it. Okay, so just to close this session before we take in more questions from the chat, what are some best kept secrets on like business building as an immigrant? So this is an opportunity to share like tools, resources, and learning or programs that have helped you get to where you are right now. Nouhaila, you're nodding. Go first.
Well, I think we mentioned a couple of them. For me, as I mentioned again, building relationships is really underestimated, and then finding people who can help you, and then helping too. You gotta help, so it has to be like a loop, right? Karma's real, guys and girls. Really. Yeah.
And you're right on that. I think one of my greatest mentors right now, I met her at a book launch when I was still an international student in 2016. And we stayed in contact, but I remember I was working in sales and she needed some help with her big consulting firm. I actually didn't know that I could help her. She just kept talking to me about it. And I was like, oh, I can give you a business lead list. And when I was able to serve, she's like, okay, after a while, she's like, I'll introduce you to this person, because she did see that I really was rooting for her and her business, not just always take. So that point about serving definitely works. And Ibiyemi, what would you say is the best kept secrets about business building as an immigrant?
I would say just join events. So this is fantastic today. We've met 3 of us. You know our businesses. You can slide into our DMs and you have a talking point, right? I can't tell you how many times someone I met in February just through an event kind of like this posted something and I'm like, oh my God, why haven't I ever thought about that before? And you'll learn a lot about just ways to cut things down, right? Templates, text expanders, like links that will make your life so much easier, that just come up literally naturally when people are talking about your business, and they save lives. Do not do everything from scratch. It is just, don't do it. Like someone's figured it out, find out who's figured it out, and just copy and paste.
And add your little glitter to it, so you don't get in trouble. Pat, were you gonna say anything on
I do. I just wanted to say that like the best kept secret is just don't think about it too much. Like we tend to overthink that, okay, we need to have a finance software, we need to have a care structure set up, we need to have a mentor, and it becomes like overwhelming. So the best thing to do it is to just do it anyway in an imperfect way, and then just test it and learn it, and you just fail. And then sometimes it's just like, you just gotta have to fail to learn. Sometimes it takes longer, so having a mentor is good, but just do it anyway. Don't think about it too much. It will come along the way.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, I love that so much.
We'll talk.
We definitely are creating a community for ourselves. Okay, so because of time, we're going to get to the best part of this whole session. This is like my favorite part. So we're going to play a game called Unpopular Opinion, This or That I created. Yes, I did. And so what it is pretty much is, I'm going to say 2 things, A or B, and then you say what your preference is. And then folks, if you have a question around why Pat, Nouhaila, and Ibiyemi chose one over the other, you can definitely reach out to them. Their handles we'll put their handles throughout. So it's literally next to their names, and you can have a way to build your network by starting with a conversation that started from this game. Okay, are we cool? Do the players know what's involved? Let's do it. Okay, registration as a sole proprietor versus incorporation. Nouhaila.
Incorporation.
Pat.
Incorporation.
Ibiyemi.
Sole proprietorship.
Ooh, unpopular opinion. Second one, and they cannot say why, so you have to find out on your own. DIY accountant versus outsourcing.
Definitely outsource it. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Outsource it.
DIY. I love accounting, guys. I do my own accounting. It's my favorite thing to do. So DIY.
Who are you? Okay, we talked about this, but business coach versus learn as you go.
Learn as you go.
Love that.
Business coach. accelerate business coach.
I can't say both.
No, you've already lost the point for explaining the last bit.
Business coach, man, acceleration. What?
I'm like, learn as you go until you can't anymore. Okay, so, and this is going to be hard for you guys. This one's going to be tough. Business for impact or business for income?
Business for impact.
Business for impact.
Business for impact.
Oh my gosh, we have a unanimous answer. Business for impact. I love that. Okay. Okay. Last one. Side hustle versus full-time founder.
Who's gonna go first?
Full-time founder.
Full-time founder.
Side hustle.
Okay, I'm gonna break the rule right now and ask you, Ibiyemi, why side hustle over full-time founder?
So there's a whole industry in entrepreneurship that tells you that you have to be a full-time founder to be an entrepreneur, and you can't do a side hustle as an entrepreneur forever. And I just like to debunk that. My business coach taught me that, listen, if you love your job, if you love making impact in your career and growing and developing, but you also love your side hustle and you love coaching and you love, another part of your business, you can do both. I'm doing 3 things right now and it keeps me sane. So I say side hustle versus full-time founder.
Love it. Thank you. Interesting. Unpopular opinion. And that wraps up that game. Thank you so much for sharing that. So here is the affirmation you need, that you don't have to be a full-time founder, but if you want to, you also can be. It's totally up to you. Love that. Okay. So we have taken all the questions we had in the chat. Folks asked about if they can move from sole proprietorship to incorporation. Pat, I remember you saying, yes, you can. Tips for creating a business email address. We talked about that. We talked about how to create a website. Might actually make a dedicated video about that. So if you want to see it, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'll walk you through my process. We talked about registering a business, the difference in Ontario, BC, and pricing and partnerships for your business. So if there's anything I missed, can we talk about that right now? Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Can I potentially plug a project that I'm working on?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
Speaking about partnerships, Foot in the Door is partnering with Joyful Hire. So it's another career coach, and we're bringing you career camp. So we're launching in September, and I'm going to send the link to Janey to put it in the comments later. But It's a group coaching model, and it's really for those people that are feeling overwhelmed, stuck, just confused as to what they want to do next, or people that are looking to transition. It's going to be 4 weeks. 2 hours a week, literally intensive, getting into the weeds of things. Give us 10 hours, we'll transform your life.
You're honest, and one thing I say about coaching, and then people ask me, why should I go for a career coach? Is if you look at every star athlete, they have a coach. So if you want to play regular league career basketball, sure. But if you want to take it to the next level, you should definitely consider having a coach. And one thing everyone on this call has right now is an incredible career and incredible businesses. So you can do both. So definitely check that out. Nouhaila, what's up with Scale Without Borders? What's coming up next? Tell us.
Yes, so this is exclusive. I haven't announced it at all. So this is
We get to hear it first.
It's not even public yet, but I'm going to share anyway. We're hosting a summit in the fall. It's going to be a large gathering of newcomers in tech. As you know, Scale Without Borders helps newcomers in tech specifically. Our membership is completely free because we give you access to resources, content, as well as tech job opportunities. Make sure that you join our membership network, which Janey will share, I believe, in the follow-up of the email.
We'll definitely do. Thank you so much. I'm going to look forward to that summit. And next week, right, or 2 weeks from now, July 28th, you have something to share?
Yes, we are doing a casual hangout on specifically tech sales, again, for newcomers. And guess who's going to be also one of the amazing speakers?
Your host, Janey. I'm excited to share a little bit about tech sales and tech partnerships and how my actual job is around that. Okay, Pat, do you have something to tell us about what's going on at Empower? Tell us.
Yeah, for sure. I think you touched on it a little bit. So right now we're only in one revenue stream. So we're growing it to 4 revenue streams. So it's going to be a lot of scaling in a little bit. And we are building an ecosystem for international students. So actually supporting them since the day that they arrive in Canada, or even before they arrive, up until they establish themselves as a professional. So we are building free career resources depending on your career needs, and it's entirely free. So that will be launching fall of this year. So if you are interested, I'll send you a link. You can join, get onto the initiatives, and when that's launched, you're gonna get bi-weekly emails just direct to your inbox about career needs that you need.
Honestly, that is amazing. I wish I had all the services around when I just moved to Canada, because I think I'll probably be like CIO somewhere, God knows. But no, thank you all so much. And yes, send that link around. So hi folks, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. You are the real troopers. Wow. So we're going to be talking, and definitely in the replay, I'm going to put all these links to Career Camp, to what's coming up at Skill Without Borders, and then the sessions with Empower International Students. And so you can join the communities. I cannot overestimate the importance of having community. Thank you three so much for joining us. Oh, someone sending in a question at the last minute. And because I'm nice, because I'm nice, I would actually ask it. So can you share your quick experience about filing taxes as a sole proprietor? Ibiyemi, do you want to just speak on that?
Well, I will be filing my first time in February 2022. So if you can wait a couple of months, I'll let you know.
So, Fika, I'm not sure exactly where you are, but I might ask Pat, because Pat, you're still registered as a sole proprietor, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't make so big that I need a tax account. Like, well, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So I usually keep everything in my Excel: receipts, income, expenses. And then every year I just send that list to my accountant, and I'd be like, hey, this is how much I make as a self-employed. And I think you have to fill like a T1 or something like that, like a form. But he or she would take care of it. And you just pay like, say, $100 maybe, like depending on how much she or he charges. Yeah, as easy as that.
Awesome. So again, if you're not sure if taxes is a big thing, just check with a professional, and it doesn't cost you so much. Thank you so much, team, for your time today. I cannot definitely pay you back for this. But most importantly, from just looking at the energy in the chat and all the learnings we've taken, like you're dropping tools, the forum owner, technician. I'm just hearing so many things. So if you missed it, if it was all too fast for you, you can definitely catch the replay. All this information will be available on my channel. Please subscribe if you want to know how to survive and thrive, most especially as a newcomer to Canada. Thank you, Ibiyemi. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Nouhaila. I thoroughly enjoyed spending time with you, and I look forward to more of these conversations with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Janey.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, team.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, people, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. It's been an immense honor and a joy. If there's any other topics you want us to bring immigrants to speak on, please let me know in the comment section. This video is going to be live on my channel within a couple hours, and I'll see you soon. Again, I hope this was helpful for you. Have a lovely and a blessed week. It's your host, Janey, aka Janey of Canada, and I'm signing out. Take care.